This is day 248 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you would like to sponsor an upcoming shir or more of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, it would be greatly appreciated. Yesterday we completed Hilchos P'tzias Hapas, and today we're doing Hilchos Suda, Siman Kuf Ayin. Today we're especially going to do from Siman Kuf Ayin Sif Alf to Siman Kuf Ayin Sif Ches. Divrei Musar, Shmuel Derech Eretz, Yisnaig Hadam B'Suda. Ethical issues which apply to a person while he's eating. Aleph, one should not eat in the middle of eating. Should not talk in the middle of eating. You do not discourse while you are at a meal, because perhaps food will go down the trachea instead of the esophagus. You'll come to danger. Because when you're going to try and voice a thought, Niftach Osokova shall piha koneh, the epiglottis, I believe it's called. I remember from my high school biology. On top of the trachea is opened up, and the food goes into it and it causes you a danger. Near the bein ma'achol ma'achol mutter. It seems that, of course, that between different eating dishes, you're allowed to talk. But some people say that between dishes it's also asur, as long as it has mind to eat more. They came to dabar sakonas, it's dangerous. They're cautious no matter what the situation. But even the one should not talk during that time, even according to this chumrah, between dish and dish. You can't ask not number of us. What about the fact that it says in Avos that any table which the return side is as if they ate from sacrifices to the dead? The Skimu Rabim and many concurred to because of Mazabad and Yotzim, you not fulfill obligation by benching law. So how can you have the return if you're not allowed to talk? It's possible the Mishkachas law after you finish eating before your bench. Now because this time or before you wash. When you're preparing yourself to eat. Or else after you ate from the bread, but before you go on to the next dishes. By us, which is not us, because we don't say it anymore, at least I don't see anybody ever say it. Saying al naros bubble before benching, that suffices. Mishnah Berurah says to say after a motzi mitzvah davashem roi lechsar, because that's also divrei Torah. But as it may, Shabbos Yontav Rosh Chodesh. Oh, that's back to Arukh HaShulchan. Shabbos Yontav Rosh Chodesh. Omri Shir Maos of Shuv V'Gomer. The Shir Maos you say does count. Omna Mishi Yachol Lechem Dir Luma Divrei Torah Mamash Matov. But somebody who really learn actual Divrei Torah supposed to say Psukim, how wonderful that would be. It's because it's difficult above all is Lama Ein Yisor Machshov B'Din Zeh Darli Toch Achila. Nobody's care about this. Everybody eats while in the middle of meals. Yesh Mishomer, those who say the Dafkli they were eating, reclining. It was more of a concern of danger. Because then the esophagus is on top, and the trachea is below. And the food can go into the trachea when it opens up, like we wrote. We sit upright, and the trachea is not lowered down. It's not an issue. That's the Prisha. Nobody else says it besides the Prisha. Why do you answer that he should sit up and respond to him sitting up? Besides that, even if the trachea is on a level with the esophagus, we know the food can fall down there anyway. Perhaps people hold now it says you don't have a discourse during the meal. That's an extensive conversation. like the discourse in Divrei Torah, Kibbutayne Sham, like in Tainis there. Sheila b'Divrei Torah, Asilom Shuchim b'Dvarim Abi. What's the question? The Torah you might get very much drawn out. But to respond some words, Leis Lon Ba. There's no problem. The Ulai Aideze Lo Niftach Me Piakon. Perhaps this way the trachea doesn't get open. Therefore, Eiz Inyon Ein Chemes Eiz Inyon Ein Onu Medabrim Betchilas Beemtza Achila. I'm not sure exactly how this fits in here. It seems like it was somewhat a typo. But it says, therefore, in fact, Eza Inyan, whatever the subject it is, we don't speak in the middle while we're chewing. Or eating, not but while we're eating the dish, but between dishes. We're not considered the opinion of Sifal. The guy made Tavshil Ein Ledaber, that you can't speak even between dishes. The Be'emes Lo Nir Kain doesn't seem that would be the case. And in the middle of the eating, we speak very, very little. In other words, what Arukh HaShulchan says we do nowadays is we don't talk, we talk extended matters only between dishes and between courses, let's say. And we speak a little bit, but not very much, while in the middle of actually eating the course, which he says, perhaps that we interpret the Masichim Besuda to mean that having the long discourse you should not have while you're in the middle of a dish, but rather between dishes. But that's a long discourse. But a few words, a small matter, that can be said even when you're in the middle of a dish. And then he says, Vodev Shalomar the Kim, the Dashbei Rabim, Shomer B'Sleim Hashem. Since many people do this, therefore God watches the fools. M'chein Nir Ikar. He says that seems to be the case, which means the Teretz HaKohen may steer me Yerushalmi Perek the Brachas, because the answer he gave before is contradicted. From the Yerushalmi, Shomer Shalom Avsik B'Achila, you shouldn't stop in the middle of eating. Afilu Amar Susa, even to say Gesundheit. Mishitesh Samni Koch, Moshe Kosa, sneeze. Moshe Kosa Atuv Shulchan Aruch. Therefore, Afilu Mila Achas Ein Daber Be'emtza Achila. Then it sounds to that like even one word one shouldn't say in the middle of eating. Obviously, though, then Shomer B'Sleim Hashem is basically means that we don't have a good answer, but people do it, so they do it. Gimel Isa B'Yoma Ten Rabbanan Halacha Besuda. The halacha in eating is that Adam Yotze Lashkin Mayim. Klamar Shiyatzim Mitoch Besuda Lashkin. Somebody goes out to urinate. Noto Yad Achas V'Nichnas. He washes one hand and he can come in. Also Yad Sheshiv Sheboan Yitzotze Shnofa Raglo. The hand with which he rubbed the whatever drops fell on his legs. It's on Tilas Yadayim, and you have to wash on Tilas Yadayim. Mishnah says that if you want to eat, but only want to eat. But if you want to just drink, you don't need a bracha on Tilas Yadayim. Ukshunayt, back to Ukshunayt loyita b'chutz. Chutz, you shouldn't watch outside. But you should watch inside, so people all see that they're not be suspicious. They didn't watch. And besides, maybe saw him brushing off the drops. Bring them to suspicion. Therefore, if he didn't rub any drops off, but he didn't touch places which are normally concealed, instantly Tokla doesn't have to wash it all. But if he actually went to defecate, he needs a tila over again. That which you said you shouldn't watch outside, because suspicion that's you don't want to eat anymore, at least those, but only to drink. And while you're drinking, you also eat a little bit. So be suspicious that he wasn't makbid to wash his hands. But if you're going to eat more substantially, so you can wash even outside. The bezeh lo yachshadu. They won't be suspicious in this case. The kol yadim. Everybody knows Indians. They're kol adam isnis. Everybody is sensitive and not to eat directly after defecating. Or vare not yadav, and he certainly washes his hands. I'm sorry, even after urinating. Sorry, even after urinating, and he definitely washed his hands. Ranagan says, me, when it comes even to drinking, everybody knows that I am very sensitive. Klamar Istani Sunny and person who's low tolerance. I am Shamba. Didn't left us all out. We're not like them. Okay, Ram Bergzayish means I am Sham. So if you left the table in the middle of the meal, you've been a chavero and you spoke with your friend, v'fleek, and you took a while. Klomar, shishoymo you spoke in a great length outside the table area. Noita shteyada v'nichas, you wash both your hands to come in. They came and chiefly time was into a way for an hour or two. That's a long time. Siach dait Masuda, you were made siach das from Masuda. Bishop Burns said that you that if you're holding a piece of bread the whole time while you're schmoozing, you don't have to wash, because then you definitely had das on the bread. And again, didn't get distracted from it. It's a nice kula. Hey, back to the Arukh HaShulchan again, since he was there away for an hour or two. V'lo shmoyadav, and his guys wasn't meticulous watching his hands, and they are busy. Near the inside bracha begam hamotzi and so much kasam simon kubayin ches. We don't need a bracha, nor you need a new hamotzi. But we fleeg. But when we spent a long time there, the olam tzarich litob over shargishu. You have to always wash in a manner that everybody should sense that. The Mishnah Berurah says that there are different opinions in poskim. You can be mako in terms of, when it comes to eating, that you can also you're allowed to wash outside. They're back to Arukh HaShulchan. Become vadei should do here to certainly be concerned. The daishon the session spice should serve until you should see a haina besocha suda. That which you have to wash for drinking, that's within the meal. The yesh chashasha milchal gankin, because we're concerned maybe you'll come to eat as well. However, if you see a below the suda, but you're drinking outside the meal, ain't certain until you don't have to wash. Klomar the ain't sham dina tios adayim. There are no laws of washing being meal them in the keels. Just if your hands are not clean, no lon echshu, you wash them as is. Uvelo bracha without making a bracha. Lemaisa, the minhag which we have is to, if you go out to urinate in the middle of the meal, you do not come back and make a til's time. Just wash your hands because of cleanliness. I don't think anybody was manas and makli to wash hands in public, because we all know that our day and age people wash their hands when they come out from the lavatory, and if you did defecate, then you have to wash with netilas time if you intend to eat bread. Again, then you can't just sit down by the table and continue eating bread. But anything else, you not have to. It doesn't require netilas time. You're going to have to wash more, obviously. Dalit isa bebrachos. Shnayim mamtinim zel lezeh bekara. Two people wait for each other with the plate. Shloshim mamtinim. Three do not. Abotzeh hu poshet yad tchila. The person who emotzi, he starts taking first. It seems like this is what it means to say. One person not start eating before the second one from the plate. Who should extend his hand first? The person with motzi. Immediately the second guy. But the second guy is not yet ready. The first guy shouldn't start taking either. Rabbeinu says the Sifra God appears b'zeh b'derech acher. But says it as a pshat. In the middle of the meal, one of the guys stops eating from the plate in order to drink. His friend should also stop from eating from the plate, or whatever else he's involved with. In other words, the other guy should also take a break. Mr. Brewer says it's only if it's not a major delay, and it's only if the other guy is not schmoozing. Okay? But if the three people table, the two who continue eating, they don't have to wait for the other guy to get back. But he says this is only when they eat from one plate. So So it's derech eretz not to continue eating from the same plate when he's not around to take his part. Avok shekol echad ochel mikar b'fnei. If everybody's eating from their own plate, lo sheratin zeh. This halacha is not relevant. Nevertheless, gama perush pirashtu vade kenu ladina. The first shot we gave, that is certainly correct. La halacha that they should wait until both are ready, and then the botzea should take. Hey, Isa be'ervin, ein m'shayrin peah be'ilfas. You don't leave leftover in the pot. Avo m'shayrin peah be'kara, but leave leftover in the plate. Peirush Rashi, shashamash ma'aremin ilfas l'kara, when the waiter is pouring from the pot into the plate. Ein derech l'nich be'ilfas klum b'tzorko. It's not the derech to leave anything over for the waiter in the pot. Avo kolcha m'nich peah be'kara, but each person leaves a little leftover in his plate. Shamash gives it back to Shamash, Shamash, and that is the waiter's portion. Okay, so Siv Gimel. Also, even though I have to give the Shamash beginning when you're eating, which goes like we saw previous Simen, it's no silo mashu, but then you give him something, a token amount. It's not by every food stuff. It's only those which have fragrance or are acidic or acidic. Here, you leave a lot over. And from each of the types. But even if he's not actually serving at the table, or he's only the cook, and even his food, his sustenance is not incumbent upon you. So you have to leave over some for him. I don't think anybody has this minute nowadays because nothing else. We're sensitive and we don't eat leftovers from other people's plates unless we're directly related to them. It says they do leave over in the pot. Things you do leave over from stuff which was cooked. But only if it's a Maisa Ilfas and not Maisa Kedera. The question is what's the difference between an Ilfas and a Kedera? The Maisa Ilfas near a crab tanim ain't Masher below Maisa Kedera. The Maisa Ilfas, it looks like you are famished if you don't leave something over, but not by Maisa Kedera. Not by things made by Kedera. But that's even Shal Mevil Hefek. They brought the opposite. Mashayim by Maisa Kedera, below by Maisa Ilfas. Like dairy leave over, not by ilfas. The mice kedera near a crab's son. That by dairy look like a glutton. V'lo mas ilfas, not by the ilfas. And sham. V'sham read the la mishum kedera shayla shamish. It's like there was leaving over the shamish. Ella kenu emidas derech eretz. That's the custom derech eretz. V'achshav nagu shorech mishayim ha'at. The custom today is that the guest leaves leave over. Ba'bais so ain't mishayir. Ba'bais in his own house does not leave over. Like I'm coming as a brisa kenu, maybe that's what brisa means as well. Chemashu b'gemara. Ubesechus derech eretz. Shebiuz elihina babach slani. For in terms of a guest. Why is every nezis b'ashemina shorech mishayir kishe'enu mishalim b'ad sudaso. Perhaps that's where the reason is that came about the minute that a guest leaves over when he's not paying for his meal. So if I recall correctly, Maisa Ilfas is Hadama and Maisa Kedera is Mizonos. But that it's not relevant because we don't have this minhag at all nowadays, even though they perhaps still had in time Arukh HaShulchan. This is not done anywhere. More again, people do not eat from other people's leftovers. Zayin Kasav HaRambam Perek Zayin Ein Mistaklim Bivnei HaOchel V'lo B'Manoso. You don't eat and look at a person who's eating and not in his portion. Chelko says here in order to clarify what that means. In order not to embarrass him. Never saw this anywhere in Chazal. But it does make sense. This is in a guest who's eating for free. When they look at him or in his portion, he thinks that they're looking at with some aspersion on what he's eating. Chachamim are proper in their pleasant in their group. And not Ameyaretz. Chachamim sit with a proper decorum. And they speak with decorum. Not true ignorant people. In this case meaning coarse people, who are not do not suffer from oversensitivity to etiquette. V'sham perek eitan mishu mukam b'chacham. Lo yocham umad hacham shnad eat standing. Lo yilakim betzos. So he should not lick his fingers. V'chulei elom yeh adam yodeh. Eitzum yoshi. A person always knows by whom he's sitting. Eitzum yomed by whom he's standing. Eitzum yomesa by whom he's reclining. Eitzum yomesa with whom he is talking. Tamid achamim nikarin. Achamim are recognizable in their proper behavior. Bekisan with their pocket, with their money. Bekosan with their drinking. Bekasan in their anger. Batifasan and in how they dress themselves. And some people say also in how they talk. Ches shonim seches derech eretz. Hanichnas lebayis. Somebody who comes into a house. Well, I skipped. Some derech eretz perek vav. Hanichnas lebayis. Somebody comes to a house. Kol ma sheyigzor leBaal bayis. He has to say anything which the Baal Bayis tells him to do. He's supposed to do. Mr. Burabus brings down that if the guest has a certain chumrah or practice of abstinence because of some issue of isser, he's not required to listen to the Baal Bayis to transgress that. But something which is just a not because of srach isser, but just his own abstemiousness, whatever it is, that's perhaps not the right word. His own attempt to curtail his indulgences. Tov l'gera, it's best for a person to conceal himself and not to make known these things. And eating and drinking, if he is not already satisfied, and the Baal Bayis is you pleading him to eat more, then he's not required to listen. Okay, well that's from the Mishnah Bura. Back to the Arukh HaShulchan. Psachim is so perek zayin amina kol ma she'omer l'cha Baal Bayis asay chutz mitzay. Everything the Baal Bayis says to you do except to leave. She'omer lo tzeis me'achsanya. If he says to leave your place of your residency, temporary residency, answer lo tzeis, you do not have to leave. K'amir be'erchin, like it says in Erchin Shem Mishanim achsanya ayin sham. So it sounds like, according to Arukh HaShulchan, what it means is that if you're staying in one place and you're eating in another place, and the guy by whom you're eating says, "No, go stay somewhere else," you don't have to listen to him because it will cast aspersions on the first place. A person should not be short-temperedness. He should not get angry or irritated or angry. So because people of his household certainly guess it's hard for them to eat. Us in that situation, the afraid maybe it's going to get angry at what or how they're eating. The Bir Halacha says about means that or any service that the Baal Bayis asked him to do, he should do, except if he said that if he's sending him to serve him, but in a manner which would cause him to leave the house, such as to go to the marketplace for him, that far the Orech, and even in his politeness, does not have to agree to do.